everybody, welcome to our second episode of Web Dev Speak. Now, today we're going to talk about hosting. A lot of my clients get tripped up here because they just haven't really had to deal with it, but I think it's really important for everybody to understand what hosting means, but also to make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of somewhere else. Hosting is basically where your website lives. Generally speaking, you're going to pay a company anywhere from $10 to $100 a month, depending on your website and the services you get with that hosting. Let's keep that in mind. But you're going to pay a fee every month or over a year basis for your website to live on their server. Now, it also depends on what they're doing for you, how much you're paying, and whether or not they're doing anything for you other than your site's just sitting there. That's where those cheaper hosts come into play. They provide some support, but a lot of times it's very little. Or, those more expensive hosts where they're taking care of things, they're doing security updates, stuff like that for you. So let's talk through some of the more popular hosts. And I'm going to talk about two hosting solutions that if anybody who knows me knows that I hate. But technically, these qualify as hosts, but they're a little bit different. So for anybody who is used to building their own websites, Wix and Squarespace are two of the most popular platforms out there right now to do a drag and drop, build your own website. Now, I hate these for a variety of reasons, largely because I can't 100% control them because they don't give you that ability. Now, that's great for somebody who's getting started. They just need to have a professional-ish looking website and have a presence. Wix and Squarespace are great for that, but those are hosts. That's where your website lives. And a lot of times you buy your domain through Wix or Squarespace as well. Now, I don't like them because Wix and Squarespace are two platforms that everything is controlled on. You can't migrate that website to another hosting company. So if you're hosting with a typical web hosting company, you're able to move those site files in your database around, and you're able to put it anywhere you want. You're able to change who you work with. But your website, if you create it through Wix and Squarespace, lives on Wix and Squarespace, and it cannot live anywhere else. So you are stuck there if you choose this, but these are good starting points. You don't necessarily want to have that website move. I have some other problems with them for a variety of reasons, and I can do a whole video or 5 on that. But for right now, that's something I want you guys to keep in mind. I want you to keep in mind that these are hosts, but they're a little different. Now, another host, and we talked about this in our domain name, another host is GoDaddy. Frankly, 90% of my clients have been on GoDaddy at some point. Again, they do a great job of marketing to consumer. They have their own page builder, site builder platform. That's another thing that can't necessarily move to another host, but they also host WordPress websites. They host plain HTML. They give you servers that you can just build whatever you want to build with. So I even have a GoDaddy server, full disclosure, for my test projects, for my clients' developed sites. It is a great, secure solution. It's not particularly fast by any stretch of the imagination, but it is good to have for just a nice kind of cheap environment. GoDaddy is one of those solutions, though, that their service is not fantastic. If anything goes wrong with your website, you're paying a minimum fee. They're not going to be able to help you. They have WordPress hosting. That's what they call it. And of course, I build 100% in WordPress these days. So my focus is on who has great WordPress hosting. GoDaddy's not that person. They have WordPress hosting. They make the environment great. But if something goes wrong with your website, they're more than likely not going to be able to help you. You still need a developer, like me, to go in and fix that. Now, I prefer WP Engine. This is actually where I host most of my websites. And if any of my clients want to host a website, but not necessarily through me, I tell them to host with WP Engine. WP Engine is great because it's built for WordPress. They take daily backups. Their support staff is, well, amazing. They have a tendency to answer my chat questions and take care of my issues within just a matter of minutes. I can be on hold with GoDaddy for, I don't even want to tell you how long. But they're just a host. While they're going to be able to do some of those things, and they do have a little bit more support than a typical place like GoDaddy, your site just lives there. The great thing is I can migrate any of my sites at any point in time off of WP Engine and go to a different host if I find somebody else that I like better. That's the advantage to having a host like that. Now, the difference between a host and a developer who can help you, if something goes wrong with your site, then you still need a developer probably to fix it. WP Engine, though, has enough expertise that they might be able to point you in the right direction, or they may tell you to reach back out to your developer. But for the most part, that's where your website lives. And so they're able to help out with some of those things because they're so WordPress centric. They are able to help out with a few more things like that. Okay, to recap, hosting is just where your website lives. You probably pay a bill once a year, once a month, something like that. They're not going to be able to help you if your site breaks, because you updated a plugin or something like that. Very rarely, at least in those cases. They can help you restore backups, typically. They're not going to necessarily make changes to your website for you. Hosts really are just the environment in which your website lives. But now, when somebody asks you who your website host is, you at least, hopefully, understand that question a bit better. See you next week.